This is Cronkite News.
Coming up, the Supreme Court hands DACA recipients a substantial victory. But what does this mean for recipients going forward? Plus, the latest updates on Arizona's coronavirus numbers and how Governor Doug Ducey is handling the issue of whether people need to wear masks. And more players taking a stand by taking a knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Cronkite News starts now.
Welcome to this Cronkite News Update. I'm Abigail VAEREWYCH. In a 5-4 decision today, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration may not immediately shut down the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Cronkite News reporter MISHA Jones spoke with DACA recipients about what the ruling means to them.
Leo ALDAVAZ is relieved about today's ruling.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be going to school next semester. So all my buddies are picking their classes, talking about this and that. And I'm just I don't know if I'll be able to work, or I don't know if I'll be able to go back to school.
He's a student at GCU and one of 51,000 DACA recipients in Arizona. He's also a member of Aliento, a community-based immigrant support group. The group held a press conference today in front of ICE headquarters in Phoenix, where DACA recipients reacted to the Supreme Court's decision. The DACA program began in 2012 under the Obama administration and grants deportation protection to undocumented people who entered the United States as children. Daniel Rodriguez, who was once a DACA recipient, is an immigration attorney. He understands what the ruling means.
The legal terminology is that it was arbitrary and capricious by the Trump administration. But essentially, the Supreme Court is saying you didn't give a good enough reason. And when a program like this is implemented, the Administrative and Procedures Act requires the administration to give a sufficiently good reason.
In 2015, then candidate Trump said he would, quote, immediately terminate President Obama's illegal executive order on immigration. Reina Montoya, founder and CEO of Aliento, says she got emotional after seeing the ruling.
I was crying when it happened. My hands were shaking so much.
But she says now isn't the time to relax.
That the way that the Supreme Court sided with us, it was the fact that President Trump didn't follow all the protocol and all the steps that he needed to do to end the program, meaning that he has some time to actually follow all those steps and eventually end the program.
There's also some uncertainty as to what the ruling means for those with DACA applications still pending.
What this is going to mean, are there going to be new applications available? I've heard from trusted sources, no, there's no new applications available. And then from other trusted sources that there are. So we're trying to still process what this will mean.
For now, ALDAVAZ says he'll keep fighting for an answer.
Yeah, I'm staying optimistic. So now I feel like it's just time to push forward and try to strive for, a permanent solution.
MISHA Jones, Cronkite News.
Several Arizona lawmakers took to social media after the DACA decision was upheld. Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema tweeted this, saying today's decision provides needed relief to dreamers who deserve to be recognized as Americans. Republican Senator Martha McSally seemed to agree, tweeting, today's DACA ruling gives the White House and Congress the opportunity to do what is right and solve this issue with thoughtful legislation. But Representative Andy Biggs tweeted a video message saying he's extremely disappointed in the decision. And Representative Raul Grijalva shared the hashtag #HomeIsHere for, quote, all the young immigrants who dare to dream and have known no other home but this one. Arizona's largest wildfire continues to grow as firefighters push to contain the flames and protect homes. The bushfire has burned through 115,000 acres in the Tonto National Forest so far, and is 5% contained. Hundreds of people in the nearby Apache Lake, Sunflower, Pumpkin Center, and Tonto Basin communities have been evacuated, and Jake's Corner has been placed on alert for potential evacuations. As for the Bighorn Fire burning near Tucson, it's grown nearly 24,000 acres and is now 40% contained. A new evacuation order was issued this morning for a section of Mount Lemmon. Arizona's count of known COVID-19 cases jumped again today, a day after Governor Doug Ducey reversed himself by saying local governments could make wearing face masks mandatory. The Arizona Department of Health Services reported 2,519 additional cases and 32 new deaths. That raised the state's total to over 43,000 cases and over 1,200 deaths. Mayors in Phoenix, Tucson, and other cities said they would move quickly to require masks. Cronkite News spoke to Dr. Germ about why this is so important.
Recent studies showing that it does reduce your risk of getting the illness. It also avoids other people who may have the virus from coughing, sneezing, and aerosolizing it. So it has two benefits. I mean, it's not 100% perfect.
With the rising coronavirus concerns in our state, Gila River Gaming announced today it's shutting down 3 Phoenix area casinos temporarily. Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, and Vequiva were closed at 2 this morning and will stay shut down for 2 weeks. The company reopened casinos last month before the major spike in COVID cases. All employees will continue to be paid and will receive full benefits during the closure. The company is now assessing its coronavirus protocols, including cleaning, social distancing, health checks, and mask policies. COVID-19 has also delivered a blow to the booster clubs that are essential to the success of high school football programs. Cronkite News reporter Jackson Lauderay looks at how major difficulties could affect the games and, more importantly, the players involved.
Booster clubs were made famous on Friday Night Lights. They cheer in the stands every game, every season, year after year. And they boost the bottom line of high school athletic programs.
We are responsible for helping raise money and support the students and coaches that are in our program.
But those booster clubs, along with the programs they help, may be facing some trouble.
We've also had some of our fast food sponsors put us on hold because they were not sure how this was going to affect them and if they were going to be able to survive it or not.
Some high schools are doing better than others. Val Sundberg, the Booster Club president at Pinnacle High School, said in an email the club has a successful beginning to their fundraising. These clubs can make upwards of $200,000 a year for their programs. But there's one more major question.
We've had our family sponsors, so like the parents on the team, if they have a company, they've held back this season so far because they didn't know if there's actually going to be a season.
Less funds may mean some cuts to extras like team meals and workout gear. But what's not at play? Equipment and uniforms students need on the field.
But in our program, our money not only provides equipment and things like that, it also provides team meals at all 3 levels, extra, workout gear and things like that. So those are things that will be probably on the chopping block, for lack of better words, because they're not directly tied to student safety on the field, whereas equipment is. And so that's where we'll have to be creative.
I reached out to Booster Club members all throughout the Valley and asked them all the same question. What is the most important thing that you do for these programs? They all answered the same way. They said they support the coach, but more importantly, they support the players, who may be helping the community in the future.
Now the kids that we helped back then are getting married and having babies, and they're giving back to the community. And I think that when you see that they are becoming community members and doing the same thing, you can really see that it's a worthwhile endeavor, because they come out and they make their community better.
The state of Arizona has allowed the opening of youth sports, and a season looks to be on the horizon. It's time to see if boosters will be able to make up for lost time. Jackson Lauderay, Cronkite News.
English soccer is back, and with a message. The English Premier League's interrupted season resumed Wednesday and included a pointed show of solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. Players and staff, as well as refereeing officials, took a knee before the first game kicked off. During the match, players wore jerseys that did not show their names, but the words Black Lives Matter. All of this was in tribute to the movement, which has grown in prominence around the globe since George Floyd's death. Aunt Jemima Syrup and Pancake Mix is retiring their 130-year-old brand and logo because its origins are based on a racial stereotype. 3 other major brands have come forward in the past 24 hours, announcing their brands will be evolving as well for the same reason. Food manufacturer Mars Incorporated says it's going to make changes to the rice brand Uncle Ben's. The company said it hasn't determined specific changes or the timeline for making those changes. Mrs. Butterworth's parent company also came forward, saying while their brand is intended to evoke the images of a loving grandmother, they understand how their packaging may be interpreted in a way that's wholly inconsistent with their values. And Cream of Wheat is the latest major food brand to announce a review of its controversial logo. B&G Foods, the owner of Cream of Wheat, says their packaging features the image of a Black Chicago chef named Frank L. White. That replaced an earlier mascot named Rastus, who scholars say was a racist caricature. In early cream of wheat ads, Rastus was portrayed as a former slave who spoke broken English. That's it for this edition of Cronkite News. For Arizona news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.